whilst he's setting the slides, if this presentation had been directly after what the Honorable Justice presented, you would have linked it straight to what is happening at our universities, the tertiary education institutions, the abuse. Can I say abuse? I have to ask the justice whether abuse is the correct violation. Yeah. And these violations, as we go on, you will see that some of them, they don't know that they are violating the rights. Sammy? Yeah, so I will skip some of the slides. We will go through quickly because we are more interested in the findings than what happened. Yeah, so quickly go to the objectives, then the sample size. The first objective is to know the extent of digital uses in user institutions. Not that we don't know that it's going on, but we have to know the extent. We have to have figures and facts behind it. So the extent of digital uses. Then who are the owners? Are they foreigners or are they Ghanaians? And then what works? Are they being copied or downloaded? And then if you also go to the libraries, Honorable Justice talked about the libraries and then others. So what's the purpose of converting such works into formats, digital formats by the libraries? So we quickly brush through the sample size. We used 2019 students' data. That's just the size, not the student names. And in Ghana, we have 194 accredited tertiary institutions. And in 2019, the student population was 454,352 students. And we are going to conduct a survey on these students. So there's a statistical procedure of selecting the students. Yeah, so these ones we will just skip. Those who are interested in statistics, later on they can get the slide and then, yeah. So in all, using what we called probability population, proportional to size, we selected, you see that we selected 500 students from public universities. Private universities, we selected 200. Public technical universities, 100, but later on we increased it to 200 because we couldn't get the public colleges of education. Some were having teaching practice, so we had only the first years and then the second year. So we decided to increase rather the College of Education by 1, and then public health institution to 100. So how did we select them? It was a non-random. I don't want to talk statistics, move on. Yeah, and then the selection of students too, because we want to know, we have different courses that the students do. So you can't just select students from just one faculty and then say you've had results. So we first did it by program based. So for each program that is done at the university, you select some of them randomly. But some of the interviewers found it difficult to do that because if you look at those universities where they do many courses, are you going to select first year student or second year student or third year? So what they did was that in the hall of residence, you don't have law students alone in one hostel also. So they just moved to the hostel and then interviewed them. So we had first year, second year, third year, and then different courses also. And we also interviewed lecturers. So 15 lecturers from 3 of the biggest universities in the country that we surveyed on. And then how many questionnaires did we use? We used 4 types of questionnaires, 2 for the students, 1 for the lecturers, and 1 for the institution's library. So for the student questionnaire, I said we have 2. So we have 1 for general uses, and then brief characteristics of the respondent, program the person is pursuing, source of learning material, access to original electronic published materials, medium used to download online material. Someone will ask, why should we ask about medium use? When the Honorable Justice was speaking on what is being done now, he talked about levies and others put on certain equipment which you can use to download or copy things. So it was very necessary to know which medium the students use and the type of materials, and then whether any payments are made before access, and then how the materials are made available to the respondent. Then the second one is situation analysis. If I ask you all questions now, what do you do? You will just tell me. But there can be record lapse, and you can also not be so accurate. So when we talk about situation analysis study, it means that someone is observing or taking notes of what you are doing throughout the period. So we are talking about this copying issue. So some questionnaires were given to the students. So anytime you download a document, you write the size, whether it is a book, whether it's a journal. So they did it over the semester. So that gives you what the student did during the semester. So that one was compared to the first one that the questions were asked and then they just answered. So the librarian, the focus was whether there are copyright agreements signed with right owners. I think those, if you had listened to the Honorable Justice very well, he talked about all these things. And then the lecturers, because some of you will be using handouts and others. So you are using handouts from lecturers. So there is nothing like copyright violation. But what material did the lecturers use to provide or to prepare those handouts for you? So we also went through, we administered some questionnaires to the lecturers to know their sources and then how they also. Take that. Now we are going to the summary of the findings. The general practices, that's the first questionnaire. If you look on the graph, you see that material from the internet is the source for majority of students at every level. Undergraduate level, 83.8% said they use what? Material from the internet. Second degree level, 84.4%. PhD, 100%. All of them use. Yeah, they use other material, but all of them also use. But if you look at the overall, you also see that you have, I think, 83.8% of the students interviewed who have used material from the internet. Now, this one, because the other one is multiple response, can be using the internet, can be using hard copy, can be using all this, but which one is the main? For the undergraduate, we found out that handouts almost 50%, that's half, said that the main document that they use as a learning material is handout, followed by internet, that's 36. When you go to second degree, 78.1 said learning materials from the internet is the main source, PAD 100%. And then if you look at the overall, you see that it's handout because the number of respondents was large for the undergraduate. Device used to download electronic materials, 85.2% of the students use mobile phone or tablet. Laptop used by 67.4%, and the university's ICT center is only 15.3% said that they use the facility for downloading material. Which materials are downloaded? E-books, the highest, 71.2%, and sheet music, 5.8%. I think learned and academic journal to 58%, newspapers, and then others. Move on. Do students make any payments for accessing the materials? 88% said no. 11% said yes for some of them. And then only 1% said yes, all. And maybe they will be the PhD and the master students. And how materials are made accessible. Printing out of hard copies, you have, that has the highest. And the last speaker, Olaf, talked about, I think, not facing out completely hard copies. What they do is they download and then print. So it becomes a hard copy. So this is, now let's look at the situation analysis. Yeah. So this went into details, what actually you downloaded. So you get the descriptive statistics. If you look at published, the materials, ebook, total number of downloads, 360. Total number of pages, 95,221. Average number of pages, 264.5. Minimum number of pages, 2. And maximum number of pages, 1,972. You will download someone's material like that with no compensation. Let's look at handouts. Total number of downloads is 760 downloads by the 1,000 students that we surveyed. And that comes to 83,619, average of 110, the minimum 2, and then the highest is, I think, 1,000. So this is how the statistics look like. It means that the thing is actually going on. This is what a situation analysis. They filled what they have done. And you have to do it anytime you can. We had a form for them. Where materials were downloaded, institutional platform, if you look at the first one that I showed, see that the institutional platform was very low. Then you have your tablets and then others. So if you look at institutional platform, ebooks and then other, I think on the average 34.8. At other platforms, 65.2. That's tablets and then, but if you look at where they gave the spontaneous answers, the institutional the institutional ICT center was 15.8. But when we took, actually what they did is 34.8, and then this. Origin of the downloaded materials. On average, you see that 65.1% were foreign, and then 34.9% local. And if you look at the local, is the handout, which is 93.4. And then foreign handouts were just 6.1. So we see the dynamics clearly. Any financial payments made, overall, 91.8% said no. Only 8.2% said they paid something. Move on. How materials were treated. Copy and paste, just 7.1. Print, 11. Saved on either your laptop or your pen drive, 74.6. And just viewed and then discarded it, you have 7.3. Let's go to the institution. We've been talking about now Ghana digitization is a common word. So when we say document digitization, what does it mean? You have to define it so that the students will know that is different from the other digitization being said. So document digitization is the process of creating digital versions of paper records. Digital copies can serve as backups to originals or as more accessible file format for users to view in multiple locations and adapt as needed. The digitization process is more than scanning and creating images of documents. It also involves producing electronic versions of files that can be edited, and it can extend to a full conversion of a record-keeping system for paper to digital. And this information was collected from the libraries. 80% of the institutions have digitized or scanned library materials. And then the main purpose is for preservation. And for preservation, which types of works are preserved? Orphan books and out-of-print works constitute the main digitized materials. 80% of the institutions have data platform and repository. 90% of them subscribe to electronic online published materials. Almost all subscribe to both local and foreign works. Okay, no, go back. All the institutions subscribe through CALIC, the consortium of academic and research libraries in Ghana. That's what all of them said. 5 of the institutions indicated students make financial obligations for accessing the materials through academic user fees and then library user fees. Now we come to the lecturers. Sources of material used by lecturers, you have them there. I think online electronic material from various websites is the highest. That's 92.3, followed by hard copy material purchased or from other sources. So they use a lot of hard copy materials, but they also use the internet more, 93.2%. And type of materials, e-books, 96.1. Journals, 92.3, and then the list is, I think, others there. Remuneration for right holders for use of their works. When the lecturers were asked, majority, that 55.2% said yes, some of the materials. Then only 3.4% said all the material that they use, and 41.4% said no payments are made. So for those who make any payments, 81.3% of their payments went to publishers, 25% right owners, agents, and then 18.8% the author. So, knowledge of copyright issues among lecturers. Found out that 34.5% know the institution has copyright guidelines. They were asked whether their institution has copyright guidelines. 34% said yes. 62.1% are not aware of any such guidelines. They didn't say they know, but they said that they are not aware. And then 3.4% indicated there is no such guidelines. So, you know the confusion here. Some of the lecturers say we know. Some said, I don't know. So, what's going on? Do the lecturers know the copyright guidelines of their institutions? No. And awareness of copyright status of site students are referred to. 11.8% said yes, they know. 64.7% said they know copyright status of some of the sites. But 23.5% know nothing about the copyright status of the site that they refer students to. Then, if you look at the result from the library, it said that all the institutions subscribe through the Consortium of Academic and Research Libraries in Ghana. But when the lecturers were asked whether they are aware of it, only 31.5% of the lecturers know of CALIC. Only 31.5%. Meanwhile, the libraries say that's where they subscribe their materials from. But majority of the lecturers don't know. For lecturers who know CALIC, only 25% use resources from the site. So the argument here is that if the library say or the institution say we subscribe from that site and the lecturers are not using it, so can you say that you are subscribing from a site so you are not going to pay any reprographic fees? Of the lecturers who know CALIC, only 13% refer students to the site. I visited the site myself and found out that most of the references were directed to science, agric, and then others. So not the liberal courses, you see. So that's also one of the problems. Move on. So in conclusion, there is enough evidence of digital uses of text and image-based works in tertiary institutions in Ghana. There is also concrete evidence of copyright abuse by both students and then lecturers. So thank you very much. But I have to take this opportunity to thank the Copy Ghana board for giving me the opportunity to conduct this survey. I think this is the third survey that I've done on copyright, and I thank them for the opportunity. Because now WIPO has been directing African countries who want to do similar things to me, but for free. Côte d'Ivoire has called me already. And I think I invited all the data collectors here, but I think they couldn't come. There is one here. Gloria. Oh, she's gone out. She's here. Let them see you. She did the collection for University of Education, Winneba. She's a master's student there. Thank you very much.